So example 3 is slightly more challenging than example 2 because the angle they gave me is angle 6, 142 degrees. So I'm not starting with angle 1 like I did last time and worked my way around. Now I have angle 6 at the beginning, and notice they did change the numbering scheme. Now 1, 2, 3, and 4 are all on the left side, 5, 6, 7, and 8 are all on the right side. So this table will look different. You do want to start by marking your diagram and making sure you're following along with these angle numbers. So angle 1 and angle 6, well, those are vertical angles. And we know from previous chapters and sections that those are congruent. Vertical angles are congruent. In order to get angle 2, a couple of different properties you could use. You could say it's a linear pair with angle 1 or a linear pair with angle 6. Either way, it's supplementary. So it's going to be 38 degrees. Remember, these angles have to add to 180. 142 plus 38 will get you 180. So I said that it's a linear pair with angle 6, but you could have said linear pair with angle 1. Jumping down to the bottom half of this diagram, angle 3. Many things you could say. You could say that angle 3 is alternate interior with angle 6. You could say it's corresponding with angle 1. You could say it's a consecutive interior with angle 2. Either way, you'll arrive at 142 degrees. And the answer that I chose, or the reason I chose, was alternate interior to angle 6. But again, there is more than one correct answer. Angle 4 then is supplementary to angle 3, so it's going to be 38 degrees. And I chose corresponding with angle 2. Angle 5 jumps us way back up to the top set of 4 angles there. Angle 5 is supplementary to angle 1 and congruent to angle 2, so it's another 38-degree angle. Notice this table now looks different from the previous table. The reason I chose is that it's vertical to angle 2, but there are other correct reasons. Jumping down to angle 7, you can see quickly that angle 5 is congruent to angle 7. Angle 5 is the one we just did because those are corresponding angles. So that one will also be 32. The reason that I chose was consecutive interior to angle 6, just to spice things up a bit. Angle 6 and angle 7 are consecutive interior, so they're supplementary. Last but not least, we get angle 8, which is 142 degrees, and the reason I chose there is consecutive exterior to angle 5. So keep in mind you have choices when it comes to your reasons. So make sure you're utilizing all the vocabulary, getting some experience working with these numbers. Example 4 has an extra line in it, but it's not too much more difficult. In fact, you're still just going to see the same 2 numbers over and over and over again. So they don't even ask for a reason, so I'm not going to put this one in its own video because it's fairly quick. Notice they start you off by saying angle 5 is 82 degrees. Okay. So we can go through this table starting with angle 5. Well, if angle 5 is 82 degrees, so is angle 8, because those are vertical angles. And if that's the case, well, let's jump over to angle 6. Notice that angle 6 corresponds to angle 5, with this as our transversal, and these 2 lines being the parallel lines that are intersected. So angle 5 and angle 6 are corresponding, which means they're congruent. But wait, there's more. Angle 9 is vertical to angle 6, so it's also going to be congruent. So that takes care of some congruencies on the right. If instead of looking at these 2 parallel lines, I jump over and look at the left 2 parallel lines, I can make that same argument for angles 4 and 7. Angles 4 and 7 are also 82 degrees. So what does that leave us with all this other stuff? Well, everything else is going to be supplementary to that 82 degrees. So for example, if I want to start with, we'll start with angle 2. Angle 2 and angle 5 are supplementary. because they form a linear pair. Angle 2 and angle 5 are supplementary. And since I know that angle 5 is 82, that was my given, all I need to do is subtract angle 2. I need to subtract 82 from 180. That'll get me the measure for angle 2. And that measure happens to be 98 degrees. Once we know that angle 2, it helps us fill in the whole rest of the table. 11 is a vertical angle, so it's congruent. 3 is a corresponding angle, so it's congruent. 12 is an alternate exterior angle with angle 2, so it's congruent. And we can make similar arguments for 1 and 10. So once you know all of the congruent ones, you can find all of the supplementary ones just as easily. So there we have that bottom table, and this concludes example 4. Go ahead and try some of these on your own. Notice there's a couple of tougher examples that we're not going to look at in this course. If you want to try them, if you want to challenge yourself and give them a whirl, feel free. I'd be happy to check that work for you. But this is as far as we need to go here in Geometry AB. So do your best, practice hard. I'll see you soon.